Kong has been living in the Hollow Earth alone and surviving by hunting down other species. It may look like he is trying to save himself when he brings the species to different traps to be safe, but the poor guy is alone enough to keep looking for more of his kind. Meanwhile, peace has been restored on Earth once Kong and Godzilla have been separated, and Godzilla being on the Earth helps the people against other titans. Currently, Godzilla sleeps in the Colosseum. The outpost inside the Hollow receives signals from an uncharted area, which they report back on the outside grounds. Eileen sees it, hoping it isn't a serious deal. In the base academy, Gia loses her senses in class, and when she is brought back, she has weird spikes drawn all over her table in papers. Eileen is called out about the incident and gets worried when Gia tells her she feels like she doesn't belong there, being the only survivor of the Iwi tribe. Eileen calms her by telling her they belong together. At night, Eileen notices the similarity between Gia's drawings and the signals from the uncharted area. Meanwhile, Gia gets another nightmare simultaneously with activity detected on the base computers. Eileen goes to meet Bernie in his room and requests him to help find out the relation between the two images. Bernie wants to go to the Hollow Earth so he can record it and prove to people that he isn't bluffing on his blogs and vlogs. Eileen is called for an emergency, so she has to leave, but not before begging Bernie to help her and Gia, and she will do anything for him. Godzilla has woken up and started marching somewhere. Eileen tries to act positive that as long as Kong's still in the Hollow, Godzilla has no reason to retaliate. But right after she says this, Kong is seen coming out of the Hollow. Lucky for them, he only came because he was hurt. Giving him sedatives, Trapper descends his craft and replaces his tooth with an artificial one. While Kong rests, Eileen is called to have some guests. Bernie awaits her, telling them that the signals are distress signals, and if Gia is getting them, it means someone down there has been calling for help. Eileen reports this to her base, and they also assume it is linked to Godzilla being on the move. After a little convincing, Eileen is allowed to go inside the Hollow with a small team led by Mikhail. Eileen asks Trapper to join. Gia joins because she is linked to those signals, and Bernie joins because that's what he worked for. As Kong prepares to enter the Hollow back, the craft carrying this team follows close behind. Everyone is amazed by the nature of the Hollow, but the giant titans are scary at the same time. Meanwhile, Godzilla has marched toward a nuclear facility, destroyed it, and absorbed all its radiation, charging itself for some reason. Kong goes toward his house while Mikhail first goes toward the outpost. However, the outpost has been destroyed with the people killed. A giant hand mark on a wall is nearby, but Eileen is sure it isn't Kong. Kong goes to his cave and jumps down the ruins after taking his axe. He comes across a mini Kong in the uncharted area who bites Kong and tries to run. Poor Kong is then attacked by two other adult apes, not giving him the leverage to be happy that his kind still exists. Not having another way, he kills one of the apes, scares away the other, and then makes Mini Kong guide him through the way. The recovered footage from the outpost has a creature similar to an ape attacking the place. Before they can discuss, the craft almost crashes due to electrical disturbances. Gia guides them in the direction of the signal, making everyone land and walk through. While walking, Trapper suggests not taking a path due to a rotten smell, but Mikhail doesn't believe anything other than his advanced indicator, so just like any other stubborn background character, Mikhail dies by getting swallowed by a tree. Everyone runs and carries on with their journey, not wanting to stay around any more risk. A fully charged up Godzilla walks in Spain and then enters the sea. He seems to be headed towards the Arctic Ocean to hunt the Titan Tiamat. The Tiamat is strong enough that by taking it down, Godzilla will become supercharged. Inside the Hollow, Gia finds engravings that belong to her people. They follow the ruins. Reaching a fountain-like place, Gia pushes a rock accidentally, which starts pouring water into the narrow tunnels. Following the water, they reach a bioelectric layer which seems to be working as a camouflage to hide something. Gia rips the camouflage and comes across the site from her dreams. Telling this to Eileen, the four of them decide to get in. Kong pushes Mini Kong to take him ahead, but Mini Kong is a cunning little monkey to make him enter the waters with a dangerous titan within. Mini Kong starts running away after seeing Kong losing against the sea monster. However, the little ape doesn't reach very far before the torn-up pieces of the monster fall around him. This also seems to have given the two food. Mini Kong also starts realizing that maybe Kong isn't a danger. Godzilla and Tiamat have a very grave fight in the Arctic Ocean. But after a few explosions, Tiamat's pieces are seen floating in the water while Godzilla enters Tiamat's lair. As the four look around the place, they are suddenly surrounded by the people of the Iwi tribe. However, the leading lady recognizes Gia to be one of them and takes them to where they live. There they meet the leader of the tribe. The lady leader holds Gia's hands and sees her past, accepting her as their own. She then takes Gia and others to where they were sending signals from, now confirming that their signals are what woke Godzilla. Kong takes Kong to a fiery cave-like place. Meanwhile, the lady leader takes them to a place filled with Iwi script. The script talks about how the Titans protected nature and apes protected the humans back then. Then an evil ape, King, rose and beat Godzilla, almost making him lose until Godzilla managed to imprison them in a fiery realm. Kong finally reaches the fiery realm and sees all the apes working laboriously for King while being bullied by his specials. Kong helps a bullied elder ape and then punches the bully, making King get the report. King comes out and analyzes Kong, but he kills Kong's father before fighting. This makes Kong react and start a fight with the King. King's bony chain-like weapon with a sharp illuminated stone at the end gives him a better edge against Kong. However, when Kong starts getting good at retaliation, King brings out another Godzilla-like monster. The monster lets out ice from his mouth, freezing Kong's dominant arm. Kong calls him out to get into a tunnel and escape. Simultaneously, Eileen reads that the monster is an ancient titan, Shimo, whom the King controls through pain using the stone on his weapon. This is why Godzilla has been charging up, but he won't be alone this time. The script reads that one of their own will return closer to that day and awaken Mothra, the defender of the Iwi and Godzilla's ally. The Iwi person is Gia in this. Kong escapes the realm and tries to get away from the apes following him, but he only manages to survive with the help of Kong, who then helps Kong get up. Bernie is amazed by how the entire civilization works through the manipulation of gravity. A sudden signal makes them open the camouflage gates to reveal Kong and his Mini. He must have sensed Gia to get there, but he falls in pain afterwards. Kong leaves for somewhere while another ape follows their location and reports it back to King, making him march towards the place with Shimo. Trapper examines the nerve damage to Kong's arm, and knowing he is needed today, Trapper and Eileen decide to use an exoskeleton they made for the aid of Titans. Indeed, the huge exoskeleton works well for Kong, so he leaves for the surface to bring Godzilla as per Gia's request, knowing King is headed towards the place. While Kong's appearance on the surface makes a heavily charged Godzilla move toward him, Gia manages to awaken Mothra as per the prophecy. Kong tries to signal Godzilla, but Godzilla keeps attacking him, causing a fight between the two. Kong is about to get trampled again when Mothra and Gia appear there, signaling Godzilla of the situation. Meanwhile, the Iwi use their technology to cause anti-gravity shockwaves to keep the apes away from the portals. However, afterward, everything suspended will come crashing down. Before it can happen, King appears, but thanks to Trapper bringing verticines, the apes are stalled. Godzilla and Kong appear right in time and move to attack Shimo and King, but the gravity shock occurs right before they strike each other. As everyone is suspended in the air, Shimo and Godzilla face each other. Kong and King do, while Mothra protects everyone overall. Sadly, after everything comes crashing down, these titans end up falling through the portals, bringing the fight to the surface. The four of them fight on the surface while Kong loses his axe inside the hollow. Kong gets attacked by Shimo's icy blow yet again, but King, underestimating Godzilla, cost him his weapon. He desperately tries to get his hands back on the stone that controls Shimo, but Godzilla makes him lose it again and again. Eventually, Godzilla confronts Shimo, making Kong and fight each other as they try and crawl towards the stone. However, Kong comes dragging Kong's axe and breaks the stone, simultaneously breaking Shimo's spell. As Shimo recovers, Godzilla and Kong throw around like ping pong, and then give Shimo the chance to freeze him to death. As the peace is restored, Godzilla goes back to sleep in the Colosseum. Gia expresses to live with Eileen, and Kong, Shimo, and Kong go back to the fiery realm to other apes announcing independence.